So hello and welcome to Biogas TV. I'm Paul Green and I run a biogas advisory business and I'm the host. I'm joined today by my co-host, Alex McFarland of RNG Connect. And our show wraps up later today with Drew Puchot for our offtake roundup. Today we continue to feature winners of the 2026 Giants of Biogas Award. The Giants are industry contributors who truly move the needle in the biogas industry. Today we feature Steve Dvorak of DVO. Steve started DVO as a response to on-farm manure management challenges and an opportunity for farms to make renewable electricity, return bedding fiber to barns, and create value-added nutrients. Since opening DVO 25 years ago, Steve business has earned the #1 spot in the supply of digesters to the ag industry. Some DVO digesters can commonly have a couple of decades of operating service. Today's episode is sponsored by POC. The POC ThioPOC H2S scrubber is the leading supplier of wet H2S scrubbing units in today's biogas market. Find them at pocsglobal.com/products/ThioPOC. With that, Steve, welcome to Biogas TV.
Thank you very much, Paul. Alex, thanks for having me. Very honored to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations on being a winner of the Giants of Biogas Award.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that means I'm getting older, but we'll accept it anyhow.
Awesome. Great to have you. So, congratulations on creating the #1 brand of engineered digesters in the US. What have been some of your secrets to success?
Well, it all comes down, I think, to the technology and the customer. They have a need. It used to be, quite frankly, when we first started, the need was more environmental. They had odor issues. They had some manure management issues. So we tried to address those and solve those for the customer. I think everybody knows it's kind of morphed into something a little bit different. It's now possible to make some money with it. That's why we're getting investors involved in our business. But we still have the same thing: reliability, performance, maximum biogas production. It all comes down to meeting customers' demands.
Yeah. And you have some huge projects too, not just a large number of them, but some of those seems like the state of Indiana, you've got, I don't know how many millions and millions and millions of gallons of digesters you've got in Indiana, but you've built some pretty big plants, haven't you?
Yes, we've been lucky in that. And we like to think some of it's because of our repeat business, which we have, but Indiana that you mentioned, Biotown, I think they're the largest mixed waste digester in the United States, does a tremendous business. And at Fair Oaks, Indiana, they're up to about 52,000 cows now, and we've got a digester for every cow. So we're proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So you're seeing a bunch of success in food waste as well, not just in agricultural service, places like Biotown.
Yeah, we're doing quite a bit of that lately. Biotown's been running since about 2008. They've added on 3 expansions, and we've gone through that with them. We're doing quite a bit overseas. India is one of our biggest sales markets right now,
Wow.
and it's all straw and soybean, straw, wheat straw, rice straw, and sugarcane bagasse. I mean, it's not the typical cow manure, it's more of the byproducts.
Okay.
Fascinating.
So
Yeah.
the
So,
digester can handle straw okay? You don't create like a big floating layer? How do you get all of that folded in it? I guess it's just intense gas mixing, huh?
Well, we do, I think, a very good job of mixing. So we get a vertical mixing like this, what we call our corkscrew effect. You know that. But the other thing, of course, is that you have to pre-process it, and that's part of the secret. You have to do sizing and you have to do homogenization, and maybe you've got to get enough experience by being older to get it done, but we've been successful at doing it.
Yeah.
any
So
any pre-treatments? I mean, I know that India is kind of our audience here, we're speaking to the primarily U.S. biogas industry, but India is very interesting because of their CBG market, compressed biogas, and they're looking and working at a lot with rice straw, as you say, bagasse. It's really driven by the residue markets. Do you think there's anything for American operators to take from that? I mean, given enough of a biogas price, we could actually go and pull in some dry matter from our whether it's corn stalks or rice hulls and into our biogas plants here.
Well, we do that. We have a number of dairy farmers, of course, bed on rice hulls, and we're doing that. The poultry industry in the United States beds on something. I mean, sometimes it's even wood shavings, which I don't personally like so much, but we have it to overcome. But in India, it's mandated by the federal government of India. It's their whole oil and biogas industry is nationalized, if you will. I'm not sure that's the right technical word, but the government owns it and runs it, supervises it. So they 3, 4 years ago, they were burning 500 million tons of rice and wheat straw and sugarcane waste a year. And they have obviously had some very severe smoke and inhalation problems in their big cities. So they mandated they can't do that anymore. So now it's an opportunity to change it. And we've been working with them for about 4 or 5 years. And right now we have a pretty good position in India because we get the job done.
Are you using any sort of pre-treatments I mean, it's a pretty fibrous, lignin-heavy feedstock, right? So are you looking at pre-treatments and anything for us to learn from what you're doing over there to apply to
Well,
some of
yeah.
our feedstocks here?
So our pre-treatment is a fine grind. So you're increasing the exposure of the lignin to the bacterium. We have a homogenization cell up front that we normally don't do with cows because the cow's stomach does that for us. And so we have to replace that cow's stomach. I'm kind of a simple engineer. I got to visualize it. That's how I visualize it. But so we do that, and it's the pre-treatment, the grinding, but the digester is pretty much the same. You maybe oversize the mixing system a little bit, but that doesn't seem to be a big problem.
So my wife sometimes thinks I ruminate a little bit much, but maybe that's what that pre-treatment needs to be referred to as
The
That very
ruminator.
well could be.
the
Yeah,
ruminator.
yeah. I mean, if you look at every animal out there, including humans, we have some type of grinding system. We call them teeth, and the cow has teeth and so forth, but they do sizing and they do homogenization. Same thing.
So over time, you've done an amazing job of building a brand with the farmers. That seems to be something DVO really excels in is earning trust of the farmers. That's got to be pretty gratifying when you can win that trust of a farmer, isn't it?
Yeah, I take pride in that. I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin, much smaller than what we're dealing with today, but that's the way the industry is going. But we take pride in that. We're dealing now, of course, with more investor types, but the farmers are really the ones that make everything work because they collect the manure and they deliver it to you, and generally are very, very conscious about doing a good job.
Sometimes you let them build the tanks too. Is that just an old model where the farmer builds his own tank?
Well, we still get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still get the farmers doing that. Not maybe as much because they're getting bigger. Um, I mean, when we first started, Paul, we were doing 1,000, 2,000 head dairies. Now we're doing over 20,000 head dairies. I mean, it's obviously the concrete has gone up tenfold as well. So
Yeah.
it's getting to be a bigger job.
And you've dabbled a lot with nutrient recovery. Where do you see trends in nutrient recovery these days? I know you've done some work there. I seem to think was it Ohio? You've got some poultry litter projects going, ammonia strippers, DAF units, chemical addition. Is that a busy spot for you looking at nutrients?
I think that's a growing spot for us. We're putting in more and more DAF systems, dissolved air flotation, to separate, primarily to separate the phosphorus out so that you can control your phosphorus. You actually need less land to spread the waste on if you get the phosphorus down in concentration. It's got value to it if it's separated and it's can be handled as a solid, which we do. Nitrogen is the same thing. If you have to recycle waste back, your nitrogen's always a problem on the recycle. So we have a joint venture, give credit where it's due, joint venture with Washington State University on that. So we can strip the ammonia and make ammonium sulfate, ammonium nitrate fertilizer, and then are able to recycle. So there's several benefits to that, but the industry is getting more and more conscious about where does the fertilizer go. And of course, right now, fertilizer's an all-time high with some of the political problems. So
Right.
it's not going to go away.
Right.
That phosphorus recovery step is an interesting one because it may be the case in Wisconsin, but I know throughout many land in the upper Midwest is kind of maxed out on phosphorus on a regular basis, right? So there's a limit to what you can do in terms of just straight land application of manure. And so, as you said, you need more land, right? So,
Right.
is that becoming is it becoming more known in the among the dairy industry that a digester is a very important tool in allowing you to manage your nutrients in your own land?
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit to that. I mean, first of all, and this goes into a little bit of the digestive science, if you will, but the better job of biodegradation you do, the more you convert the carbon-based organic fertilizer to non-organic or what they call mineralized fertilizer, which is the only fertilizer that the new plant can uptake. So if you do a really good job in your digester, your uptake on the plant is much, much faster, which is a big deal on pollution control, let's call it that. The phosphorus adheres to the soil particles, so it basically the phosphorus is always on the top layer of the soil. So if you have surface runoff, we had a lot of it this year in Wisconsin, surface runoff, your phosphorus runs off with the water and gets in the lakes and the rivers. Nitrogen does the opposite. It sinks a lot. Nitrates go down. You might get blue babies on the water table. We've had some of that in the United States, but it goes down and it also volatilizes and goes up. So, I mean, it's a strange element, but the phosphorus is pretty much on the top and gives us that algae growth that nobody likes to see in our customers. So.
And the digester helps to fix that, obviously.
Yeah, we can, if you mineralize it and convert it, and then we can use a DAF to pick it up. We're doing 85, 90% phosphorus removal. So if you use 90%, it means you got 10% of the original phosphorus left. If you needed an acre and a half per cow, technically you need 0.15 acres per cow. That's a huge difference.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah.
So you started your clients with CHP projects recently. We're all in for RNG. Like, what do you see coming down the road, Steve, for the next energy play for biogas coming off of digesters?
That's a good observation, Paul. I think that, 25 years ago, everybody was doing electricity, and we did that for approximately 15 years. And then 8 to 10 years ago, electricity change went downward a little bit. RNG through California came up, and there was a massive change in our industry from electricity to RNG, including a huge amount of our existing sites changed from electricity to RNG. So there's a lot of old engines laying out in the backyard, quite a few places. I think, to answer your question, I think we're going to see a switch to a fuel a little easier to market. I think it's going to be a fuel a little easier to transport. If you're going to go overseas, it's going to be methanol or it's going to be LNG, and that's coming. We're working with people on that, and that'll happen. You're going to see even Domestically, methanol, I think you're going to see Fisher Tropes, a lot of people playing with it. I haven't really seen anybody that's done it, but I think it's getting close. That'll be a game changer. You don't need a pipeline. You don't need electrical overhead utility lines. You don't have to go through all of that utility blessings.
Yeah.
And it's a liquid fuel, and per volume carries about 5 times the energy that a gaseous fuel does. That's a big deal.
Right. Right. Yeah, certainly RNG has been a good time, but the frustrating part is always getting that gas into a pipeline, right? These
Right.
utilities that want a huge sum of money for the interconnect to be now more in control of our own destiny by making bio LNG, methanol, put it in a truck, drive it to where you want, put it in a boat, what have you. Certainly a lot more in control of your own destiny that way.
That's correct. Yeah. If you look at the problem the airline industry is having, today's news, if you had sustainable aviation fuel renewable, wouldn't that be a great market?
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely. Good.
Yeah.
So, of late, we've had a little bit of a challenging time in the industry where 45Z is slow to materialize. Some of the REAP grants have been scrutinized. We've had a freeze on REAP grants going through. Section 48 ITC is kind of behind us now. But last we chatted last week, you're still hopeful, Steve, right? For the future is looking good, you think?
I'm actually, from the DVO standpoint, I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
I think you have to be disappointed with the 48 and the 45s and the USDA loan guarantees. I mean, that is disappointing because basically it's inaction in some ways and not the law. It's just inaction, as you know that. But I think as we make this switch,
Oh, Drew, welcome. Could you mute, please? Thank you. Sorry,
so
Steve. Yeah.
no problem. So I think going to an easier transporting fuel is going to be good. Quite frankly, we're very busy. We're very busy overseas, which is helping our business stay normalized. We're doing quite a few repair jobs on older sites, maybe the other competitors that aren't working as good. I'm not going to mention names, but we're doing quite a bit of that, which gives us work. So right now, we're as busy as we've ever been.
So let's talk about that. So I know, speaking for myself, I always admire hardcore entrepreneurs. You're family owned, I think, and so with the other people out there with a lot of private equity money coming into this space, fast forward 5, 10 years, will DVO always be family owned?
Well, I'm very fortunate. My wife and I have worked together for a lot of years, still do today. Um, and my daughter and her husband, they work here as well. I work with them. I see them every day, which if I stopped working, I wouldn't. So why would I stop working? But yeah, I think that we're going to probably in some ways stay family owned. Um, it just depends on where the industry takes us. As you get, I'd like to think we're going to keep on growing, and then that puts more stress and more demands on you as well. So change is inevitable and everything, but we'd like to stay family owned.
Nice. What are you hearing from your farm clients these days? As we pick up the news, fertilizer prices super high, diesel prices through the roof to run their tractors. Are they feeling the pain that it sounds like we hear in the media that the farmers are feeling these days?
Well, the farmers are feeling the pain. There's no question about it. The poultry people are feeling it. The hog people are feeling it. Cash grain farmers are really feeling it. The guys that raise the soybeans and raise the corn. The dairy industry which is still our biggest market, the dairy industry, and the beef industry, kind of the same. They're feeling it on the input side, and even milk is average, a little less than average right now. But these young bull calves from these dairy cows have never been worth more money. I mean,
Wow.
it's amazing. And the
Hmm.
beef industry is making some money. So they're probably out of the whole group of customers, they're probably doing the best.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
Good
very
thought.
interesting.
they're not making money selling milk, they're making a lot more money selling that bull calf.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Crazy time. Crazy time. Well, good. So, sounds like you've built quite a successful team there at DVO. I'm imagining you probably have a lot of career people that have been with you for decades. Clearly, being a CEO is stressful, but sounds like you've really built yourself a strong, reliable internal team there, from what you're saying.
I'm very proud of our team. We have quite a few employees, been more than 30 years, a lot of them more than 20 years. Work hard to keep them, treat them well, but we're very happy with them. And so they can solve a lot of problems because they have the experience. I like to think I have the experience, but they do as well. So it's a good team.
What is your best scope on a project? So you've got the poured in place concrete tank, you've got the precast panels, you got the gas compressor, you've got the duckbill gas mixers. What is it that you prefer to supply for your clients as your scope?
Well, we do the DVO's concept is we do all the engineering, we do the blueprints of how to make all the equipment. We make the specialized equipment in Chilton, Wisconsin, where we're headquarters. So we have a manufacturing facility that does welding and fabricating. We install the equipment ourselves. We have crews that do that. So our crews put on a lot of miles in a year. Um, so we do that, and then we problem solve. No two sites are ever the same, especially when you get into food waste or so forth. You've got to have a little bit of experience. You've got to have some data. We have our own BMP, biomethane potential testing equipment. We've had it for about 20 years now. So we see a lot of tests, and we everyone is a little bit custom designed and custom massaged.
How do you find you win against the round CSTR with the double membrane cover? What do you find your best competitive advantages to be?
I would say our competitive advantage is generally is that, especially as we get bigger, we have a price advantage on them that keeps getting bigger price advantage. But our biggest thing is that we have a first in, first out system. So if we design for industry standard 22, 25 days for dairy manure, for example, we will guarantee that everything will be in there 22 to 25 days and not a random distribution curve. People that have calculus knows what that means, but so we have an advantage with that, which means we get more biodegradation. That sounds good, but with more biodegradation, you get more biogas per cow, you get less smell, you have better pathogen destruction, better just pathogen eliminate on the solids. So you have, I'll take care of this. So it all comes down to doing as good a job in that digester you can do. And we've worked very hard to do a very good job inside that digester.
That pathogen kill is, excuse me, is another important benefit, I guess, of a plug flow system, right? And are you have you had any success in having that recognized as a biosecurity measure? The digester itself is doing that pathogen kill such that you're eliminating or reducing the risk of various by disease transmissions, one field to another, one flock to one herd to another.
Yeah, we've been aware of very early on. The US EPA in municipal waste has recognized in their standards a huge difference between a plug flow and a complete mix in human waste for pathogen destruction. You can go from a class A to a class B very quickly without a plug flow. We recognize that if you, I think the industry recognizes that if you keep an aerobic bacteria, E. coli, strep, staph, Klebsiella causes mastitis in cows. Um, they can visualizing it, they can hold their breath for 12 to 14 days. And after that, they're pretty well gone. So if we can guarantee that every gallon we put in is in there for 22 days, we get lots of tests non-detectable in E. coli, strep, staph, Klebsiella. Our competitors don't get that because if you look at it, they have material coming out the same day they put it in, 5%, and so if you look at it, they got to keep it in there for 14 days. They don't do that, and we do, which also means we're getting more biogas. Mathematically, it's just all about the math.
Thank you.
Well, good. Yep. So, congratulations again, Steve, for your success. You've thrived in the boom times, and we're doing well in the softer times. And we've been making electricity. We've been fueling trucks, and now in the future, you're going to fuel boats. You're going to fuel planes. You're going to fuel trains. But I don't know. Is there anything that we're not going to fuel in the future? I think we're going to do it all.
I'd like to do it all.
Good. Well, again, congratulations, Steve. Thank you for joining us today. Great to see you.
I'll see you in Detroit, and thank you again.
Yeah, we'll see you in Detroit.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. So with that, Drew Puchot is here for our RNG offtake roundup. How you doing, Drew? Where are we finding
Hey,
you today?
doing well.
You're running hard and
I'm at
fast.
the airport about to go to Las Vegas for the Alternative Clean Transportation Expo. I'll be meeting up with our guest from last week, Fury, and we'll be talking primarily targeting New Mexico fleets or companies that have potential to operate fleets in New Mexico. We have a really strong interest there from a couple of buyers and from trade shops that are trying to leverage their ability to bring low CI projects to multiple markets and shift in and out based off of where the ideal market to go to is. And New Mexico has definitely got a lot of promise, we think. I mean, we definitely think it's being overlooked due to the volume. Now, I am at the airport, so I occasionally get lucky moments where I don't have much background noise and sometimes don't. But I want to correct something I had said last week. The offtake interests that we have are primarily focused in projects with a 2026 start. And when I say start, I mean start at their ability to generate and deliver credits. There is still some interest for 27. We're nailing that down. Interesting opportunity was $40, upper 30s to possibly $40 per MMBTU for a minus 250 CI score, with the ability to start generating credits in Q1 of 2027. Pricing is looking like it could start coming back up here. We are seeing D3 RIN pricing pushing up over $2.50 a gallon or per RIN. And the CFR market traded $4.40 last week and was rebid there. So the problem that all these markets face is their interest in generating credits today, not tomorrow. However, for the landfill gas market, it's starting to look a little bit more optimistic. We are seeing renewed and further interest for 10+ year terms starting in 2028 through 2030. And we are seeing a lot of potential demand coming online for that point. So we could be seeing 5 to 10 year offtakes. We're hoping to try and start targeting something in the upper teens again there. But at the moment, still priced around $15 for a 5-year offtake for landfill gas starting by January of 2027. We do have some buyers that would do short term, 1 to 2 years for $17 starting by the Q4 of this year, possibly into Q1 of next year. So it's always important to remember with these things that the stipulations are important. There's a devil's in the details to them.
Yeah.
We do also have some RTC interest. We're seeing managed 26 RTCs for landfill gas and food waste offered around $13 or slightly under $13. But we do have some buyers that are voluntary buyers looking for negative CI, RNG. We think that's profit. It's around $16 to $18 for a vintage 2026. So, anyone with something there, happy to chat and reach out. And, like I said, every project's different, every story is different. It's important to their story, and it's really important what your project does to your region And I think it's great that you're bringing on people to have you and talk these things. That's like I said, devil's in the details.
Good.
Yeah, actually, so Drew's off to that conference. I should mention that.
Did all that come through clear?
Yeah, we got it, Drew. We got it. I should mention
Great.
I'm headed
Okay.
to.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah. I'm headed to the Global Maritime Decarbonization Conference in Amsterdam this week as well. And
Awesome.
like Drew, looking for buyers for U.S. RNG in the form of LNG or methanol. Definitely have a lot of projects that would like that long-term agreement, and I'm off to see what we can find. So if anybody is
Yeah.
going
I
to be
mean,
there,
we're seeing
hit me up.
Okay.
we are seeing some price parity between fossil fuel LNG and RNG produced LNG. So something to consider for European and Asian markets.
Yep. It's a very hot market.
All right, guys.
All right.
That's our episode. See you next week. Thanks, everyone.